How's it going, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to What's on Our Screen podcast. I'm Eli Ramos, and I'm accompanied by my primo Javier Rivera.
Good evening, everybody.
It's so proper, so proper. Uh,
Yeah, this is evening.
evening, evening time. Yeah, because it's later over there, isn't it? It's way
Almost
later.
it's 11 right now.
Yeah, I got 10 o'clock, so yeah, man, that's here soon. You might be going to night in the middle, middle of
Yeah.
the podcast. I gotta be going night too. But welcome to the third episode, ladies and gents. I really appreciate you guys being here, hanging out with us. We really enjoy doing the show. I enjoy doing the show. It's a lot of fun. Get to hang out with my cousin, talk about all the things that I really love about movies and TV shows.
So the
Basically,
show is basically just for you, right?
pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. It's a
It's
big ego trip for you. So.
a little bit, but we get to talk about shows, get to talk about stories, mainly stories and things that just entertain us, intrigue us, and what's on our screen, basically. So Primo, did you watch anything interesting this past week or these past couple of days?
Well, tonight I watched the first episode of Wheel Time, so that's the
Ooh,
most current one.
ooh,
So, so yeah, it's
that's
on Amazon Prime. The first three episodes dropped tonight. Uh,
oh
so
dang,
yeah, So yeah, it's a big fantasy show. They're trying a couple of years ago. I think the owner of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, he had an order for his company. He wanted the next uh, Game of Thrones.
mm,
So they started doing. So they bought the rights for Wheel Time and doing the adaptation. But the Wheel Time is not Game of Thrones. So people going in there is not. It's more Lord of the Rings
mm.
type fantasy than Game of Thrones uh than Game of Thrones. But yeah, it's so it's I think it's 8 episodes or 10 episodes. I can't remember right now, but the first three just dropped. I watched the first one, setting up pretty good the world
Yeah.
and the characters. So it's pretty much the intro of the book. Some changes here and there, but yeah, it's a good introduction to the book, to the show based on the book.
And
So yeah, I'm enjoying it, enjoying the characters and stuff.
man, that's awesome. Have you read the book at all, or you have like some? How many books is it? Do you know
So I
the
think
length?
it's 12 or 15 books.
Dang,
Yeah,
that's
yeah. Robert Jordan, the author, he died in 2000 something,
oh, that's sad.
and Brandon Sanderson finished the book.
And
So
that's the author from Mistborn, right?
yeah, from Mistborn, he finished the series.
Oh man, that guy.
It's a wonderful story. I recommend everybody just go and search Brandon Sanderson. He tells the story how you know, they came to him to to hire him to finish the story. The wife of the author, she was the editor of the book too, and
Wow.
she hired him. And yeah, it's a very wonderful story.
And how like do you think it's because of his Mistborn? The way that he told Mistborn and stuff like that correlated and matched well with how this author wrote and stuff like that. Like his
Yeah,
style. Do you think they matched up or?
I think from what I've read of Will Time, he's more Robert Jordan is more his prose is very beautiful. I mean, he's I think sometimes some people I've read some comments of people putting him right being just it's like Tolkien then Robert Jordan.
Whoa,
Like yeah, so
that's what's
he's
up.
pretty up high there. He inspired a lot of writers and stuff. So his books are big. It's not like little books and stuff, but his prose is very beautiful. While Tolkien, when you read Lord of the Rings, is he meanders a lot,
Mm.
you know. Hey, there's a rock, and it's just 30 pages about that rock, and and
How the rock
songs and
makes you
stuff.
feel.
Yeah, but Robert Jordan is just goes to the point, and but his prose is very beautiful. Like he's very good at writing. So so yeah, it's a very complex world, fantasy and stuff like that. So I hope I hope Amazon does justice to it.
Mm.
Oh, I've read that they've ep- each episode is like 10 million the budget.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for Lord of the Rings is more expensive, but
Yeah, they're already crippled by Lord of the Rings.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think crippled. That's penny money for Amazon with
Well,
quarters you find in your car, stuff like that. Yeah, something like that.
yeah, they're finding billions on the floor.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they're already like $1 billion in the hole to get the licensing, to get the rights to it. I'm sorry, to get the rights to that.
yeah, that was like 250 million.
Yeah, and that whole
Mm.
debacle that they had to extend that on top of
Yeah,
getting the rights for it. Like somebody dropped the ball on that, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, we're about to take the rights back. You got to pay us again." And it's like, "Oh
it
my
was
god."
for Lord of the Rings. It was very expensive. Plus, they had to like I think they did a couple episodes, then they backtrack and did another. Gotta like reshoots and recasts and stuff like that. So they've been going at it at that show. So they're like marveling it like Marvel movies, like, oh, this
Yeah,
movie's not working, let's go reshoots. Like it's pretty crazy.
yeah, it's like
The
what they're doing
rumors.
to Doctor Strange. They're doing like
Yeah,
a
they do
bunch of
that to every
reshoots right now.
they do that to every Marvel movie based
Yeah,
on the stories and where they're at.
yeah. No, but that's crazy that they have both high end, like uh like Lord of the Rings. If you wanted something similar to Lord of the Rings, you go
Yeah, they
for
have
for this
two
show.
shows that are pretty samey.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wheel of Time is like just the hero's journey, or like an old fantasy novel, or a fantasy video game. You're the
Hmm.
hero and you go out of your village and you have to conquer the Dark One and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
so it's very that type of feeling. So, but here it has a little twist, with time and stuff like that. But
Mm. And do you think it has like elements like The Witcher? Does it? Because it's giving me like some Witcher vibes and stuff like that. So it's almost like they're competing with Netflix a little bit more so than with Game of Thrones or anything like that.
I don't think they're gonna. For me, the fear for this show is that it's not gonna find an audience
Mm. Now, is it
because
is it too old? Is the storyline too old? Because I'll,
no, it fits.
full
It fits
disclosure, I
with
never
this.
heard of it. To be honest with you, I had
It,
no idea.
it fits with this. With what this time it's when the book. When the show starts, and the books, it's a very matriarchal society. You
Hmm.
know, Women wield magic,
Oh, okay.
and and they have like a system built for it. Men can do it, but it corrupts men very fast, and they lose their mind. And some of them, there's twists and turns, but the women is like they form this society, Al Sadai, I think they're called. It's like the Catholic Church and stuff. They wield a lot of power, and people don't trust them, and they hide information. It's very society like that, or a leader, a sect like that, and
Mm.
so. But Jordan did a lot of like world building in it, and you know, so the twist of the show, or the novel is it's that it's our it's our it's our future and it's our past. So it's based on our real world
Ah,
almost.
nice,
So
nice. So it has some Dune vibes in there with that the man, I just had their names. That women group that control basically the galaxy.
but it just
The Benny Gesserits. Thank you,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
I just went a blank right there. I had their name right there at the tip of my tongue. It's a bit, but the Benny Gesserits. Yeah, as like it's giving me that vibe right there.
yeah.
Did it come out before Dune? Like, was it written before Dune or after Dune?
No,
Because Dune was
it's
like in the
afternoon.
60s. Okay.
No, it came right there with Game of Thrones in the '90s. I think '92. But he's a more faster writer than George R. R. Martin.
Oh yeah, that guy, man. I don't think he's ever gonna finish the books, dude.
No, I don't think so. I think the TV show is going to be the ending for the series.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of fans upset with that. A lot of fans that are just gonna
We're
be
going to
heartbroken.
set for more than 10 years because the last book came out 10 years ago almost.
See, man, that's crazy. I've never written the books, or I mean, I've held them
Yeah,
in
and
my hands, and I'm like, okay,
yeah,
yeah, but dang, dude.
books are good. The books are good and different than in certain parts of the show.
But don't the books just like isn't there like one whole entire book that retells the same things that you just read like a book before, but from somebody else's perspective and giving you a little
Well,
bit more insight onto like why decisions were made and stuff like that?
yeah, that was like I think book four.
Oh,
I can't remember. Anyway, but yeah, it was usually the Game of Thrones books are from the perspective of certain characters. You know, mainly your heroes and some characters, and you're accustomed to that. And then the next book comes out, and it's completely all different characters, and you're like, I couldn't finish the book. I could not.
oh.
I could not finish that book. I went to the internet and see what the hell happened, but I cannot finish that book. And I jumped into the other one that returned back to the normal characters.
Yeah, no, I couldn't do that either. I wouldn't be able to finish that. I mean, it's almost when I hear something like that, it reminds me of Metal Gear Solid. When you play Metal Gear Solid and then you jump into Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, and it's like the story you're expecting to play Solid Snake, and then all of a sudden it's just like Raiden, and you're like, what is this bait and switch? Like, what is what'd you do? Like, and I'm expecting to run into like Solid Snake again, and like it's gonna switch perspectives, and you're gonna be playing him for the rest of the time. But no, they just like, oh, here's Irigor, Pliskin, like, hey, like we all know that you're Snake. Like everybody knows that you're Snake. You're not hiding it, man. That bait and switch, it just irritated me. Anyways, I digress. But when I hear something like that, it makes me feel like the whole Metal Gear Solid situation. So
Yeah, and I think the frustration for with that book when it came out, it was the book before that was I think it was so much info and so much things happen in that book, and you want to know what happens to the main characters,
mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden it was like, oh no, it's just all these other characters, and you just don't want to.
But isn't his story so vast that he has somebody like on the side or something like that, like
Well,
keeping like
he
dates and stuff like that for him?
he said the thing is that he this website that is like a wiki
That's
for
right.
Game
Yeah.
of Thrones. He got in contact with the creator, and he asked him for information. He has so much characters and stuff.
Yeah, that's
So,
that's when you know you need to scale back. Like I'm sure like avid readers when they read that book in that book series, they're just like, look at this world, look at these characters, look how in depth he goes. All these things. I don't doubt that's part of the intrigue into that book series. But at the end of the day, bro, you gotta cut it back. Like start killing people, and they all died. Let's move on. Like because when you got all those storylines and stuff like that, it's just too much, man.
yeah, yeah, it's
Too
like the
much.
show. The show just started killing everybody.
Yeah, yeah, because there's like we're not gonna add another 6 seasons just to tell this person's perspective of stories and stuff like that. No, he did.
And the thing is that sometimes it's just small characters that
Mm.
that you don't know where he's gonna end in the books. Either in the TV show, they just went, you know, chop him up.
That's where he is. That's where it is, ladies and folks. Ladies and
Yeah,
folks, ladies and gents. Jesus. Ladies and folks. That's a new one. No, but yeah, dude, that's man. I applaud him for being able to write all that and being able to like bring it to life. But I think what was this new one? Fire and Ice, right? Is that the
that's the main title of the novels. The
but
Fire and Ice, a song of ice and fire.
but is that the new prequel that's
The
coming
one
out?
is the oh, it's from the Targaryen's point of view. I think for HBO
Yeah,
that show. You know?
yeah.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
that's another thing he did.
and it's just a spin-off essentially, right? It's not.
Like 200 years before
Mm,
the books, the main story starts.
yeah,
So Targaryen conquest and stuff like that.
that should be interesting. That should be.
Because they filmed a pilot for one of those for a spinoff that was going to be, I think, thousands of years before the show.
Hmm.
what was going to be with the children of the forest and how they built the wall and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, I like that.
But they filmed it and then they decided not to go forward with it. So
That's unfortunate because I love all that. What happened
yeah,
before? What happened in the past? Where where did we come from? I won't digress
yeah,
into that, but like I love that type of story, and you know that better than most, because
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But yeah, whale time.
yeah.
That's highly
Well,
recommend that. I hope it finds an. I think they already said there's a second season coming. So
that's good.
I think they just gonna power through
Yeah, force it
it.
down our throats. Like you're gonna love this. You're gonna like
Yeah,
it.
I
Yeah.
think the wheels. I mean, the wheel time fans from the books, they've been ecstatic. So I think they did a couple like screenings of the first two episodes in a couple theaters, and they took
Oh,
out fans. So they all loved it. A lot of them are loving the show. So
that's awesome, man. That's
yeah.
awesome. No,
So
that's
they've been
great.
catering to the book fandom first.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting their approval. So yeah, I follow a couple of YouTubers that are super fans of those books, and they've been ecstatic with the show. So
Oh man, that's great. Yeah, no, I'll totally check it out. I remember you telling me about it a while back ago, and
yeah,
it just completely slipped under my radar, man. But I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna watch it, and then we could circle back and just talk about and
yeah,
in another episode talk about how great it was because it sounds good.
yeah,
It sounds good.
yeah. I enjoyed it. It sounds good. It's just let the show be the show, and
Hmm.
don't try to judge it before that you see the whole season and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what's on your screen? This
Um, man, I've been watching Narcos. Uh, I
I have
watched.
not watched that show, man. That show went
Oh,
below my radar.
dude, it's Narcos this season. So for those of you who don't know, Narcos is a series about narco traficante. It's a Spanish show on Netflix, and it starts the very first series is about Pablo Escobar and how went to power and became the Pablo Escobar that we all know. And it starts with his roots and everything like that, and then it transitions over to Narcos Mexico, and that's where the series is at right now. And so it ties everything together really well. So it's masterful storytelling. But what I really enjoy about it is that they stay true to the whole Spanish aspect. It's not one of those things where they zoom in on somebody's mouth who's speaking Spanish and then zooms out and they're speaking English so we can understand. No, they committed 100% to the Spanish. And let me tell you, this season, I've heard so much Spanish cussing that I was afraid that I was going to start cussing to my mom in Spanish because that's all that was in my mind. It was like, pinche
That's the
cabrón.
best cousin. That's the best cousin cursing ever.
My God, it was just like every time they spoke, I was just like they were speaking a different language. God bless them for having subtitles on. Cause sometimes I'd be like, ¿Qué dijo este? Like, what did he say? I, they would be like sentences and phrases that I just completely missed, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna accept it. But towards the end of the season, I was able to oh, okay, he's just saying what's up. He's like, no mames, que pasa, way. I'm like, oh shit, that's how they say hi. So, but yeah, it's a really good show, and this is the third season of the Mexican arc of it. The first two seasons were great. This third season was just kind of like it felt like it was a complete setup for something else. It was like establishing. It was establishing. Man, and I forget another narco trafficking. The Chapo, a Chapo, and it was a big. It was just 100% a big setup. But there was a gem of a story in there about a local Mexican cop who's just kind of like who has to hustle on the side and find his own way to make more money because they're not getting paid a lot. They're probably getting paid $150 like every 2 weeks or something like that as a cop. And so he's hustling and he starts investigating the death and the disappearance of this more so the disappearance of this girl. Her mom approaches him and asks him for help and stuff like that, and he kind of brushes it off. But then as things start to progress, he starts to notice there are more girls missing around the community. And all of a sudden, you see this light switch just turn on, and he becomes like a true detective, like a real cop. And his story arc is so great because you see him become this. You see him where he's at. He's just kind of like this mediocre kind of character, and he's just the person who he is. But then, as the season continues, you see his story arc, and he starts to transition and evolve as a human being. And then you see this final conclusion, and he's like fulfilled. You're like, I've accomplished something, and you see like this person change in front of your eyes, and then there's a twist at the end. But it's that story right there was just worth the whole entire season to me, because the actual storyline, the main arc of the storyline, just was kind of like, okay, we're just establishing a chapel, for what's about to come this next season. But I will say this, like I enjoy how they talk about not only the drug dealers, but how the drugs affect the society and the economics of Mexico, and how it impacts everybody around it. So the true character of the series is the drugs. It's not so much the traffic, the narco traficante and whatnot. It's not really about them. It's about the drugs and how the drugs have effect on everybody. And it's really well written, cleverly written, and it shows. It's almost like how New York City was the main character, or one of the main characters of Taxi Driver. The drugs are the main characters here because it's always pushing the story forward, and how people are reacting to it and stuff like that, and how it's affecting everybody's life and everything. So I really enjoy how in depth they go with the history of how it corrupted the government in Mexico, and how it affected news corporations and stuff like that. So it's really great, and you have a narrator that takes you through all the like key points, and it's told from a perspective of a news reporter, and most of them are getting killed because they're telling the truth. And so it's a woman, and she's like, standing up to these narco traficantes and stuff like that. So I highly recommend it, the series as a whole. But this season was really weak because it was just one big establishment. It just kind of like went on, and you didn't feel like you got much out of it. Just like more information, just like, and this is where the characters are at for the next season, kind of thing. So that's what I've been binging. And then Shang-Chi was the second thing that I watched. But
Yeah, I watched that too. But Narcos, so Narcos, you recommend it?
I do. The whole series in general, I do. I would recommend binge watching the Pablo Escobar story. Because it hooks you. It bites into you, and you just can't let it go, and you just want to see what happens next, and how big this whole entire thing is, and how long it was going on. And it talks about, it always has like a narrator talking about how these different actions affected like the United States and that country, and the political things. And it always falls on like true events. They exaggerate some characters here and there, but at the end of the day, it really ties into historical fact. And that's what I really enjoy things like that, when they're just always taking little pieces of like real things that happen, and then just blowing it up into bigger proportions and stuff like that, to give you like an in-depth view. And I'm sure that they have documentations of all this stuff, and they're just kind of like fudging the names and some other aspects of it. But it's good, man. It bites you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in that kick that I will, because I never watched it because my brothers are always fans of those stories. So in Spanish, there's been a lot of shows based on Pablo Escobar.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of burned out of that. So
Mm,
when that came to Netflix, I was like, I don't care for it.
yeah.
But then I watched this documentary called Cocaine Cowboys.
Yes. Yeah, I
But I
saw
mean
that.
movie, not the
Oh,
miniseries
oh,
on
okay. I got excited. Yeah.
yeah, but it's connected. It's like it's the same area, same. But try to search for the Cocaine Cowboy first documentary.
Okay.
It's really good. And then the Netflix show, docu series of these two friends. the Cocaine Cowboys. It's the same name, but yeah, it's you see that documentary. Wow, the '80s are crazy.
Yeah, yeah, man. That yayo, dude. That yayo consumed the '80s, man.
Yeah.
That's why everybody was like, freaking creativity was through the roof. People were doing like all kinds of stuff then, man. All kinds of stuff.
Yeah, the lines of cocaine were crazy.
Yeah, man. 100%.
Yeah, so I'm in that kick of watching those documentaries like that, so I might jump into Narcos, see
Yeah,
what the who plays.
and Pablo Escobar's story has been told from so many different perspectives. Like there's a Benicio del Toro movie where he plays Pablo Escobar, and
Yeah,
that was really good. That was interesting. It,
my favorite one was on Entourage when the main character wants to does the Pablo Escobar.
oh, that's oh man, that
It
show is
was
so
really
good.
bad.
Yeah,
That movie ended up being so bad.
yeah, and he put like his own money into it and stuff like that. Like
Yeah,
he was like fighting for it. He's like, no, this is my next movie. This is what I'm gonna make. Oh man, yeah, he went on hiatus and everything like that after that. My goodness, yeah, it was an artistic adaptation of Pablo Escobar's life.
yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, there's always a different perspective of Pablo. Uh, they're always making movies of gangsters and stuff like that. What's his face? The guy from Mad Max, Fury Road. Um, he played Bane.
A lot taboo. Did he
Yeah,
do?
the guy who made Taboo. Man, Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy did.
Yeah.
He did that mobster movie with. He's playing. He's playing what's his face? That gangster from New York. God, man, these names are just eluding me. They're just going everywhere.
Yeah,
What's
one
his name?
time we have to do a show with our list of best gangster movies,
Yeah, no, I'll be down
shows
for
and
that.
stuff. Yeah.
What's that? It's like 50 mobster, 30s mobster. He was
Man, there's Gotti,
no
Capone.
no Capone, Al Capone. Thank you, Al Capone. Yeah, it's like the story of Al Capone in his last minutes before his brain went away and stuff like that. I think from syphilis or something. He was he was sick, and it was just like him going into this. He's dying essentially, and he's playing like the last moments of Capone. And I haven't seen the film, but I saw screenshots of it, and I don't know. I wasn't too impressed with it. Just it's Tom Hardy looking, trying to look like Al Capone, and I don't know. He looks sickly, so they got that part right. But yeah, it just wasn't. It wasn't all that impressive. I'll tell you what though. One of my favorite gangster movies is the the Untouchables.
Okay, I
Yeah,
watched. I think I watched it, but I never warmed to that movie.
yeah. It's like one of those classic gangster movies because everybody just mimics that. Everybody makes fun of it or they mimic some shots and stuff like that
But
from it
yeah,
and everything like that. So
I remember when it came out, but I was young and I was more into sci-fi and stuff like that.
yeah,
I didn't care for those type of movies. So
yeah. No, it's something that you kind of develop when you get older. You start
yeah,
developing like those tastes and stuff like that, and just when you watch your first gangster movie and you see all that, and you're like, oh my god, like people did this. Like, why are people so mean? Just be like, hey, no, okay, you didn't get the cocaine. Okay, no worries. You get it next time. It's all right. Here, here's $10.
you're the ideal cocaine boss, gangster boss.
I would
You're
be.
very friendly.
I would be. I'd be totally friendly. It's like, that's all right. No preocupe, mano. Eso es la próxima, no preocupe. But yeah, I would be totally nice. It's like if you messed up, you messed up. This, I mean, like the turnaround rate in it being. Can you imagine being like a subordinate for one of these companies and stuff like that for one of these mobsters, and it's just the turnaround
Yeah,
rate. It's like, where's Fred? It's like, oh, he's dead. It's like, why? He just started yesterday. It's like, yeah, he forgot to bring the cocaine. It's like, oh no, man, you can't forget that. What about Ted over there? What's he doing? It's like, he's about to get his hands cut
yeah.
off.
There's a good comedy in there.
Yeah, yeah. There's a skit somewhere in there, and
Yeah,
because that's all you see, man. Like in Narcos, it's like you either dying for your boss or your boss is killing you.
Yeah.
Either or, but there's no in between. You got like a solid 20-day window of good living, solid 20 days, and then after that it's just like death. So
Yeah.
so yeah, man, that would be see, I would be the different one. Everybody would want to come work for me. I'm like, oh man, he's so nice, he's so great. I forgot to bring the cocaine, and he was just like, oh, next time. He's
It's like that gangster from the HBO show Barry.
oh my god, yes.
That he's so nice and teaching social skills to his
Yeah.
subordinates.
Yo, I love that show. I can't wait for the new season to come, man. Oh my
Yeah,
god, I love that show. We binge watched that hard, dude. We just sat
yeah,
there and just watched it, man.
yeah.
That's
I was
that's
mistaken
brilliant
time
writing.
watching that show.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, man, that's such a good show. I love the concept.
Yeah,
That's
it's
brilliant
such
writing.
wacky. Yeah, it's just such a wacky characters,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, such good acting at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just brilliant show.
and it's just like this character rediscovering himself and trying to branch
Yeah,
out. Starting fresh and everything like that, and it's in the most random thing, and it's almost like an actor's
yeah,
story, because it's
yeah,
how actors are always striving to achieve that goal, to be on that one movie that just catapults them to the skies, right?
yeah.
And
But it has such memorable moments. Even the
yeah,
first season was just it was a 10, and
yeah,
second season just blew it out of the water.
yeah, yeah, man, they did an excellent job with that show. it's that's a high concept show right there, and
Yeah,
it's simple too.
yeah,
It's simplicity at its purest form, and I can't imagine how much it costs, because it can't cost that much, with
you
sets and
know,
stuff like that, locations. But it's very human. It's very
yeah,
individual driven. Each character has their own personality and stuff like that, and one can identify with them in some way, shape. So even the teacher, man, the acting coach,
yeah,
what he's going through, his struggles, his
yeah,
ambitions, and stuff like that.
yeah.
So, man, that's such a good show, man. God, golly, that's a good one, man. Gangster movies, yeah, gangster shows. That's what's up.
So I've been watching new season or revival of Dexter. Um,
Uh, that's
so
interesting that we're following this chain of thought, because the shows that you
yeah,
watch, yeah, yeah, they kind of
we're
match.
criminals. We're criminals.
We're criminals in this episode.
Criminal loving people.
Yeah,
Uh, but
good
yeah,
stuff.
man, yeah. Dexter ran for I think 7 or 8 seasons, and it got a finale. And people were angry with the finale.
Mm,
Um, they didn't satisfy. So a couple years in the streaming wars, and Dexter's back again.
mm.
And this time, well, this time it's Dexter.
New
De-
Blood.
it, yeah, New Blood.
Yeah,
It's 10 years after in the story. After the finale, he's in a small town in New York. Up there, those small woodsy type
yeah.
of towns.
Those rural
Yeah,
places. Yeah.
it's a small community and stuff like that. So he's there. He hasn't killed anybody in 10 years, and he works in a like an outdoors type of store. Sells rifles and hunting stuff.
Mm.
And his girlfriend is the chief of the police in the town,
Mm.
and he just lives a simple life, and and stuff starts happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, and accidentally, he kills somebody in the woods, and there it starts again. And his son appears, grown up now, and so it kind of wrecks his life a little bit. So,
Uh,
uh, but it's been the first 2 episodes have been really good. It's good. It feels good to be back in the Dexter world. Like he's he's such an I don't know, lovable, but you're so invested in him
yeah.
and how he can get out of the situation he gets himself in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's like it gives me the vibes of the first 4 seasons that were like amazing seasons of TV show.
Yeah, yeah, because
And
that's where the show ended for me. After like the fourth season, third, fourth season, the show just stopped existing in my book.
there was this the season before the finale. I don't remember what number it is. Was High Mark 2, and that season was firing on all
Mm,
cylinders because people were discovering who he was and what he was doing and stuff like that. So it
mm.
kind of was paying off all those, all the stuff. But then the finale season was just awful, and but this one I highly recommend it. It's on Showtime. It's only 2 episodes
Mm.
I've aired. So yeah, I've been watching that. What else have you been kind of watching in there?
Well, I've, I've been watching Foundation and Invasion as well on the side. I've been watching them kind of like in tandem. Those are Apple TV Plus sci-fi shows, and I will admit the episodes before this past episode were really bad. Foundation,
On both
yeah, on both of them. The previous,
Foundation, I kind of burned out on it.
well, that's the thing. Like, at first you mentioned that on the last episode, like how Foundation just kind of like starting to fizzle out, and there's only like one good story in there, and I see it now, and it's very disappointing because there's a moment in the story where everything just like the set piece, the characters, everything, even like the story structure of the story plot with it that has to do with like the foundation and where they're at, that story arc, is it just became very like sci-fi B level. Like it
Yeah,
almost feels like it's something from Sci-Fi Channel. And
it's
whenever,
very raw.
yeah,
Very raw.
it's I don't understand. Like whenever I see like big components, like big blocky components, like prop pieces, and then they start doing do 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 do,
Yeah.
and they put it back. I'm like, yo, this is Apple TV Plus. This is $1 trillion company. Throw some money at that because that looks cheesy as blue. Like
I
it
don't think
is.
that's Apple's fault. I think that's more of the showrunners stretching and adding something that it never needed to be added in there.
Bro, because it's bad. It is real bad, and it detached me from this vast universe of a story, like this epic story, and I felt like, oh, okay, I'm at um I'm at Frank's garage, and they're shooting this over there. Like that's what it felt like. It just the sets became very mediocre really fast, and it just took me away from the story and the real interesting story in that episode. They only like focused on it for like, I don't know, 10 minutes tops, and then the rest was just like this campy B sci-fi setup, and it took me out of the story. Now this last episode, that was good. That was really good storytelling to some extent. Like it was better than the previous one, and I think it was just like, here's a crappy one and here's a really good one, setting up for the season finale. But yeah, it's it's been teetering. Like I'm I'm leaning like this may not last longer than 2 seasons, 3 seasons tops. Like,
They already have the second season, and I think the show has to. The thing is that with these shows, is that you have to establish so much to
mm-hmm.
get to the good parts.
Yeah,
So the storyline of Saber, on the foundation part, I think they stretched it too much.
yeah,
And
way.
Gale's story, they don't have any meat, and it's become very like it does. So they just the main storyline that's been consistent was the with the Empire, the Emperors.
Yes, that's
That
the best
storyline has
storyline.
been the best storyline,
Mm-hmm.
but the other ones has been stretched, and it's just like, but it's more of them establishing stuff for the second season, and they can just let go of that some of certain stuff. So
Yeah, because this past episode, there was spoiler to anybody who hasn't seen it yet. But there's just like this scene where they all make it back to the Foundation planet, and now they have this big contraption with them, and they decide to, board a vessel, get down, and reinforcements have arrived to assist them. And when they arrive there, all the bad guys are laying down. They're passed out. So if I'm the warden of this planet, I'm shooting bad guys in the head. She's like, nah, I'm just gonna walk past them, knowing full well that whatever I do to solve the issue of why people are passed out, these bad guys are gonna wake up and they're gonna have their guns again, and it's gonna be the same issue. Sure enough, she fixes the problem. Everybody wakes up. Bad guys point guns at her, and she's like, "Wait, listen, let's talk." And then all of a sudden, the reinforcements arrive, and they're like, "Okay," and they have this like Mexican standoff, right? And just because the reinforcements have bigger guns, these guys with guns that are pointed straight at these people's faces is like, fine, we're just gonna surrender. And then, oh look, here's like the main villain. She snuck a plane or a vessel, and she blows up both of these other vessels, and now it's now she
Yeah,
has
it's
control again.
contrived.
It's
Yeah, it's very contrived.
yeah, it was like the silliest thing ever. And then when she pulls the gun onto like the main, the warden, the bad guy and the good guy, they're pointing guns at each other, and then they start to talk, and it's just like, what are y'all doing? Like, there could have been more development here. This could have developed more organically, as opposed to the just like really silliness, all for the sake of, I don't know, this big reveal at the end, which was a big reveal. I don't get me wrong, it was a
Yeah,
great
the
reveal.
fans were angry with it because the books were more like it's more like a thinking type of story,
Mm,
concepts and philosophy and stuff like that. So when you start adding action to a show that is very heady, you know,
mm,
then you kind of like it doesn't fit.
yeah,
So they're stretching that storyline, plus they're adding all these stupid kind of cliffhangers and contrived situations to stretch it so they can be 10 episodes, and it doesn't work. Just
yeah. Yeah, because it got a bit too much. It got a bit too much, and it's getting there. So like the first three episodes are great. Fourth episode solid. Fifth, okay, what's going on? Six, all right, I see it. you know.
yeah.
So, and in the other show is Invasion. It was kind of like the same situation where the previous episode was completely like stupid. It served no purpose, and it's just like one of those things where one character is struggling to get out of Iraq, of like the Middle East, and he's struggling and struggling, and they take us through this emotional roller coaster of this guy being completely isolated from the rest of the world. And then all of a sudden, he finally gets a signal to communicate with somebody because all military comms are down. And then he gets the signal to communicate with somebody, and it's his like wife because they're struggling, they're going through some stuff, and she picks up, and he's like, "Oh, oh, hey, how's it going? You doing all right?" Like he gets he gets like this. Oh, I'm talking to my wife, so I got feelings again. Bro, you just took us through this emotional roller coaster about like I need to get out of here. I throwing things around, and then when you finally get connection with somebody, you're gonna be like, hey, baby, you doing okay? No, I just want to talk real quick. It's like, no, bro, you'd be like, yo, call the government. I'm trapped over here. Get me a Seahawk. And then he's like, don't worry, I'm gonna find a way. Like, oh, there's another base over here. I'll probably go over there. It's like, bro, then why didn't you do that from the beginning? Go to the base. Don't take us through this like, just go to the base and then do your, thing. I don't know. It was really silly writing, and just for the sake of like, oh, this guy is still a human, and he's gonna make it out of here. It's like, okay, all right, great. It was completely silly. But this past episode, this one that just came out,
They got you back.
they got me back, dude. Oh my goodness. This lady is she's stealing the show. Stealing the show. I can't even pronounce her name, but she's crushing it. She is crushing it. She is the lead lady, and the rest of the show should be focused on her. And it's the shortest episode of the series right now, to this point. And it's just, it focuses on her intensity of trying to get back to her family, and then like you finally get a glimpse of the aliens and how the aliens are and how they function and all that stuff, and you get sucked into it, and it's almost like Revenant, when like the camera is moving and stuff like that. It just has that, you're so fixated on what's happening in front of the screen that you just, oh man, it was so intense. And the performance was just stellar with everybody. And then at the end of it, you you feel like you watched like an hour, but it was only like 35 minutes. And you're like, it was the best episode of the whole entire show.
So it's a half-hour show.
No, it's like 45 minutes. But this episode, for some reason, they just like, yep, this is it. This is all we need to say. And they did a fantastic job. They showed the strength of the character. They finally revealed the aliens, but they revealed the aliens in the best way possible, where you get a glimpse of what they want, what they're capable of, what might be their flaws, and what are their true weaknesses and stuff like that. So it was a great reveal on top of like their chaos, like the chaos of the character and what they're dealing with internally. So it's almost like a manifestation, an external manifestation of what the turmoil that's been going on between her and her husband, just finally manifested. And it's like the alien is a representation of the distance between the two. It was brilliant. It was truly brilliant. It was like whoever wrote that, the group or the person, whoever wrote that, just A plus, 100%. Because that was just.
So let me ask you, the problem with you have with these two shows, is it that it's weekly, or the show would function better as a binge?
Man, that's a really good question. That's a really good question because I thought about that the other day. I think, man, I think I would still feel the same way had it been a binge, but since it's weekly, I get. If it was a binge, I'd still have the same feelings about each individual episode, but I think as a whole, I can understand the story a little bit better. So when it's weekly, I get frustrated with the show and I see its faults and I fester on the faults a little bit more. So when I see a really good episode, I can call it out like that's a good episode. But if the next episode would have been weak, I identify the weakness. It stands out more than it would have if it was binged. So yeah, I think they would have been stronger if they were bingeable, because I would have seen the faults. I probably would have harped on it, but it wouldn't be as bad as weekly because now since I had that bad experience, I'm not expecting goodness. I'm expecting like, okay, this is where it teeters down and goes south from here.
Yeah, it's like you say, you fester on it, and then you start watching
Yeah.
the episodes before.
Yeah.
Are they really good, or I just was high on
Yeah.
the?
Yeah, exactly. No, that's a good point. That's a really good point because you're.
Because I mean, you have to. What I saw with Foundation was it was not built for a weekly release, because the cliffhangers are the worst cliffhangers on any show weekly. Because when you have a network show and it has a weekly release, they do better cliffhangers.
Yeah.
But Foundation would just leave the story hanging, and you're like, what kind of cliffhanger is this? It was always frustrating me because it ended like, oh, click play fast, like it's a Netflix show.
Yeah.
Netflix shows they don't need cliffhangers because you're gonna watch the other episode. It's right there. So you don't need cliffhangers. But this show, it's just like, oh yeah, wait next week, and it just leaves you so and what kind of ending for an episode is this?
Yeah.
So I think Foundation doesn't work as a weekly show as other shows like, I don't know, The Boys and Netflix just on Amazon just work weekly very well.
Yeah, that's a masterclass.
And even Game of Thrones just worked as a weekly show, but these shows, oh man, awful as a weekly show.
Yeah. And the thing is, the beauty about Netflix is that yes, you're right. They don't need to have like that cliffhanger at the end, but 9 times out of 10, they do have that cliffhanger at the end because it always entices you to click that next button
Yeah,
to skip to the
yeah.
next episode.
It's the
So
it's the next it's the next drug hit that hits you. You need to
yeah,
know
yeah,
what happened.
because they always end with like this small little. Uh, you want to know how? And sometimes I hate that because the reveal is like, oh yeah, he went left. It's like, oh
Yeah.
okay, well, it's not like he went left and an eagle came down, took the vehicle, and like soared off into the heavens. Like no, he went left, but now you're in here. Why not finish the rest of the episode? I'm like, okay, fine, I'll finish it. And then the end of that episode is like, where's he gonna go? It's like, oh my god, next. So, but yeah, it's I agree with you. It's at this point, it just I'm already committed. I want to see how it ends, and I'm
Oh
hoping.
yeah, me too. I'm already committed for I want to see how it ends.
Yeah,
So yeah, and no, it's just that I have that debate with some friends sometimes that we even had it on the other show that I'm on, uh, and we had
oh,
that debate once
is
as a
is that other show Crónicas?
yeah, Crónica in Spanish.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Crónicas, nice little plug. Yeah, no, we love them,
Yeah.
man. They're awesome. A good place, man.
Uh, yeah. But yeah, we had that discussion about weekly and binge shows. And some shows are just beautiful for weekly, for just the water cooler talking moments. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's like, did you watch this season, this week's episode? But yeah, some shows are don't need to be weekly. And Foundation is one of them.
yeah, yeah. Especially with like sci-fi B staging
Mhm.
and setup and all that stuff. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
totally not. Just give me the whole thing and let me
yeah,
give me the whole burrito. Don't cut it in pieces. Just give me the whole thing. And
yeah.
that
So
guy.
yeah, I watched the movie. It's an old one that I had on my list that I never. It's always been a blemish on my record. I never watched it. It was Silence of the Lambs with Jodie Foster and
Wow.
Hannibal Lecter. I can't remember the actor's name right now.
Whoa.
Anthony. Forgot
Hopkins.
about it.
Is it Hopkins?
Anthony Hawkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I remember that movie when it came out and everybody going crazy, and I just never watched that movie.
Wow. That is
And
crazy.
yeah,
Because I
I
thought.
watched the show when it came out a couple years ago, Hannibal, but I
Oh.
never watched that show. I never watched the movie that won Oscars for acting and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it last week, and yeah, it is a good movie, and the performances are incredible. I
Yep.
just feel sad that it took me so much time to watch it, because much of the effect of the movie and the things kind of worn off,
Mm-hmm.
because I've seen that style of movie, and
Yeah.
that trope of the agent discovering the killer and stuff like that. So it's
Mm-hmm.
been done like a bunch of times. So
Yeah.
it kind of like felt like I already watched the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, man, I've seen this.
Yeah.
So, but the acting on that movie is really good. I mean, Anthony Hawkins just chews scenery
Yeah.
like it's chocolate.
Yeah. Yeah. Straight up, man. No, it's a very intellectual movie, and
Yeah,
I didn't. I'm due to watch it again because I watched it when I was like in my teens, and then I watched it again when I was like in my 20s. And so it's just trying to understand the movie. It's because it takes twists and turns and stuff like that, and there's a lot of moments there between Clarice and Hannibal and how they talk
yeah,
to each other and
yeah,
like all the symbolisms and stuff like that, and how he's a psychologist and he's like dissecting her.
yeah.
You know.
But in the same time, he kind of has a respect for her,
Mm-hmm.
because everybody just has no respect for her. Like they
Yeah.
look at her down like everything, and and actually he's the only person that gives her like credit, and he's like, oh, she's very intelligent.
Hmm.
She's on my level, like,
Yeah.
and she gives her clues like no other people see, only her, because he respects her.
Yeah.
So I really like the phone call at the end when he calls her, and they're like, hey, I'm happy for you, that stuff. I kind of I love that scene.
Yeah. But now you can see how everybody has taken it, adopted it into
Yeah,
pop
yeah,
culture.
yeah,
It puts the lotion on its skin. You know, it's like
yeah.
Joe Dirt. That scene from Joe Dirt. I don't know if you've seen that movie.
No, I haven't seen it.
Uh,
I saw a couple episodes. They did a TV show on it, right?
oh man, I don't know if they made a TV show, but the movie was was like super funny, and like there's a scene in there where it's like he gets caught by that guy, and and he's like putting down the lotion, and it's like it puts the lotion on his skin. It's like, all right, dang, I put the lotion on the skin. Here it is. There, you got my magazines. And it's like, and it's like what vehicles they're selling that week or something like that. But yeah, everybody's made fun of it. Everybody's just, and it's a great movie. It really is. I've never read the book that it's based off of, so
Yeah, I want to read the book now. Kind of
yeah, because
see how it compares.
they made they made a prequel to it, Red Dragon, and I think they made another a sequel to it, and it's
I
just
think actually there was the first one was with Michael Mann. I think he directed the first one, and the Red Dragon is kind of like a remake of that Michael Mann movie that is a
oh
prequel to Silence of the Lamb.
oh okay. See, I didn't know that. I knew that there
Yeah.
was a prequel.
So he's been pretty. That storyline has been adapted a couple times.
Yeah,
Plus the show, stuff.
yeah. You used to tell me a lot about the show, like
The
how it
show
was
is
developed.
just show is beautiful. The show it's about somebody a cannibal, but visually it's just art. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's three seasons of just visual delight, and the acting and writing is really good too for a network show.
yeah,
That is.
yeah. Because that's an A-list actor that was playing Hannibal. It wasn't no Bobo actor or anything like that.
Yeah, no, the cast was the writing. Brian Fuller did an incredible job on that show.
Mm.
If it was on Netflix when it was a show out of its time, and the network time, being on the network, it kind of like restricted the
Yeah,
show a little bit, even though he just got away with a lot of stuff, you know.
yeah,
So, but yeah, just I think it's on Netflix right now, the show. So yeah, anybody who wants to watch it, so I highly recommend it.
yeah. That's what's up. Well, I'm gonna jump on the movie that I just recently watched, Shang-Chi. Oh
Yeah, yeah, I watched that too.
man, I have to say, like first off, Disney didn't do the movie any justice on how they promoted it, because the way it was promoted, it just never enticed me. It never gave me any like moment to pause to be like, oh, that movie looks interesting. It's just, it felt like I was watching like the same scenes again and again. There wasn't anything in there. Like I was just like, all right, because I don't know too much about the character. I didn't read like the
There's
story or
not
anything.
much to know about the character.
Yeah, so I and then too, like the scenes just felt like, all right, there's a lot of fighting in there, but there wasn't any meat really in the trailers, and I don't feel like they did a great job promoting it. But when you watch that movie, and for me, from a writing perspective, like the structure and how they start establishing things throughout the movie, and then you start seeing everything that they established, just like everything is connecting. Like we did this, here it is, like, and it's just, oh man, and it flows, the pacing and everything like that. So the story structure was great, and the pacing of the film, it was just a journey. It was complete fun. The dynamic between the two characters, between Shang-Chi and his female counterpart, is just
Yeah,
that
yeah, they're
banter.
brother and sister. Yeah,
It was so
yeah, they're brother and
organic.
sister. Yeah,
So it was great, and throughout the whole entire film, everything, you didn't question anything, and they did such a good job of establishing emotions and reasoning and desires, of the characters and where they're going to go, how they're going to develop, and they stay true to the character all the way through. Yes, there was some like resolution, like some change in the character, but their personality of who they are as individuals, that stayed true, and that, man, that was just so well executed. And to date, I think it's the best written Marvel movie for for uh for like an opening movie, like their first movie,
Origin movie.
origin movie.
Origin.
Thank you. I Because I love Thor, and Thor Ragnarok took the mantle of like my favorite, Marvel movie. But Thor
Yeah.
for the longest time was like my favorite one. But this Shang-Chi was great. It was a blast, and is, man, what a way to like introduce a character and introduce like them to the universe and having their origins so well told and stuff like that. I think the only thing I didn't really care for was that big humongous creature. Like I I kind of I kind of felt like the creature was a bit much. Like I like how the creature was designed where the only thing that can defeat it was a dragon. I thought that was pretty cool, but it's just, I don't know. It's just so weird. Like I was expecting, because there's a lot of kung fu and stuff like that. So I'm expecting like the fight is gonna be a little bit more kung fu ish at the final battle, but it was kind of like flipped on its head, and it's like, this is mysticism now. This is where the rings take place, and you're like, that was a bit too much. But yeah, that's my like surface level input of the movie, because the writing was just spectacular. I enjoyed it. I thought it was brilliant. Primo, your thoughts?
Well, I share a lot of your thinking,
Okay.
but I think it's a good movie for the first two acts.
Ooh.
Then it just goes off the cliff, and the third act just kills everything that the movie was trying to do.
Okay. Yeah, I think.
Once they go over that next the village in the other side of the waterfall,
Hmm.
the movie just sank low, 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 low,
Yeah.
because it's a story about a family, the relationship with his dad and his sister and his this triangle, and the pain of losing of loved one, and at the end you expect that those three characters resolve their issue, and it's going to be a painful one, and
Hmm.
it was typical Marvel fashion, just a CG fest, a bad CG fest. People standing on a dragon for no stupid reason and flying around,
Yeah.
doing nothing on a dragon,
Yeah.
and then you resolve the issue with the dad with such like, uh, it was so bad, and I was like, man, this movie just dropped the thing. They should have never crossed the into the water, into that dimension, to that village. They should
Yeah.
have that place should have been for the second movie or something,
Mm.
you know, because it just turned bad to that
Yeah.
point. I was like, man, this is horrible. It just killed any, for me, any, because like you, I love the relationship with Katie. I think it is Shang-Chi with her, his sister. His dad was an incredible actor, and you're gonna substitute that actor for the white dragon and a red monster. Oh man, please, could have been better. It's like
Yeah.
with the Wanda and Vision, just they just good, 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 and oh no, don't go there. It's like it just, for me it was just that. I mean, it's a, as an origin film, it's
Mhm.
good. They establish a lot of stuff and cool things, and
Yeah.
but man, as a, they continue having all these third acts problem. Even Black Panther is the same thing. I just love the movie until that final fight. It's
Yeah.
just, it's such an intimate battle that it should have been with, between the Shang-Chi and his father and his sister,
Yeah.
and it's the same way with Black Panther and the his cousin that is trying to take over. Should
Yeah.
have been something more intimate. It just turns into a CG fest fighting and with trains and lines, and you're like, man, you got two great actors in there,
Hmm.
and you're just trading them for CG. Like, come.
Yeah.
So it's so for me, it's that's my problem with the with the movie. It's just the third act. It's just it was worse than Black Panther.
Yeah. That. I.
Because they make some jumps. Like Katie learns to be an archer in
Yeah.
half an hour.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like I told Ba, I was just like, hey, like they must have been there for like a week. They must have been here for like a good minute, and then like they cut to like, wow, I learned how to shoot a bow and arrow like yesterday, like a day ago. It's like, really? It's like, you're gonna do that? Like, let us, because when you do a montage, you think like, a lot of time has passed, not just a day, but a lot. It's
Yeah,
like
they could
like
invent some
walking.
rules. Like they could invent it like in Dragon Ball. Like they
Yeah,
go into that
hyperbolic chamber.
room. Yeah, they
Yeah.
go in there. It's like a year can pass, and over here is a half an hour. I don't know. So
Yes.
just do something like that, and maybe it's believable.
Yeah.
But the movie, sincerely, to that point, it didn't need a white dragon,
No.
and didn't need that creature from the other side.
Yeah.
It just needed that. You should have ended poetically, right there where the movie starts, where his father meets his wife, and
Hmm.
right there in that forest. It should have ended right there. That their battle should have been there,
Hmm.
and have the ant come over and try to protect the entrance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
now all these years and nobody's protecting the entrance.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. And the fact that he, because they left, right? They left early to go find the the path, and they had this mystical creature that just they conveniently had, and nobody talks about how that mystical creature got out from the port or anything like that. He was just conveniently there with that convenient actor. How they just conveniently wrote off everything that happened in Iron Man 3. And
No, there's a short movie. There's skit that I have in one of the DVD Blu-rays
oh yeah.
where you see he's in prison after the Iron Man 3 movie,
Hmm.
and somebody breaks into the prison, the Ten Ring, and grab him and tells him, the real leader of the Ten Ring wants to see you, and they
Oh,
take it.
okay. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
right there on Disney Plus. You can watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I have to check that out. All right.
But everybody was like that. That came out when Iron Man 3 came out in Blu-ray,
Mm.
I think. So it's been a couple of years of you. What happened to this guy who got broke out? So everybody thought that storyline was dropped. So that's why they included it there. But it just
Uh,
didn't. It didn't need it neither.
yeah. No, it didn't. And so he was hilarious though. He was very comedic and stuff like that. He added to the comedy factor. But yeah, I feel like they went to like there was a special day where the path becomes open to anybody, and you have to be like on point. And so they barely made it there with one vehicle. Homeboy made it in there with like six.
An
Easy.
army.
Yeah, he was just like easy peasy, like, let's go. Here it is. And then and it seems like they escaped the night before that everything was supposed to happen. So
That place was close.
yeah, like, you didn't really do much. You just warned them, and then they just slept there for one day and trained their asses off. Like,
Then they didn't guard the portal.
yeah, and nobody bothered. Like, the whole point of warning them was just like, hey, put some chairs there, block the road a little bit, like, I don't know.
Have
Let's,
that big dog over there watch the entrance.
exactly, those dragon dogs, those husky dragon dogs. Put both of them over there. No, they're like cuddly little things. They're playing with them, standing on their backs and whatnot. It's like, come on, people, come on. And they said like thousands, like many have tried before him, and we've stopped them. It's
Really?
like there's your problem. Thousands have tried. Like, you need to put a stop to that. Put a lock on that gate. Put a lock on it. Turn the key. Just stop it. You're like,
You
man,
should need some cameras in there. Just
yeah.
hide it
Modify
a
that
little
stuff.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, hide it a little bit.
Put
Put a
some
board bar in front of it.
put some GoPros or something. Yeah, I can, dude. Good Sam's
Put a
Club.
Walmart in there. You can hide it better.
Man, people will be disappearing in that Walmart all the time because they'll just accidentally go into the portal. It's like, huh? But
So, but yeah,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's fun.
yeah,
But yeah, that third arc, that third act just killed me.
yeah, I agree. It's I liked it. I feel like they were establishing and alluding to something. Um, and I'm trying not to spoil anything because the movie's been out for like what 2 weeks now on Disney.
Came out last week. It came out.
Last Sunday was it last
It came
Saturday?
out last Thursday. It's been a week out and 2 months out of theater.
Okay, well, like they were alluding to like him killing somebody, and I thought that it was a missed opportunity that it could have been like his best friend's, you know, grandfather. Like he was the hit that he eventually did.
You
But
didn't need that darkness.
I felt like it kind of like it was leading up to that, and they pointed all the
I
dots
think they
to.
already did that in Falcon and the Winter Soldier with the Winter Soldier.
Oh man, let's not even
So,
get into that because that.
but he did the same trope of, oh yeah, I'm befriending you, but I killed your son, and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, true.
And they never showed a resolution to it. Like,
Yeah, they really that whole series was just an abomination of writing. It was just it was bad. The setup, everything was just not. It was not organic storytelling. It was just like very like they would have scenes like, how'd you find us? Oh, you're the Falcon and Bucky. Everybody knows where you're at because social media. It's like, what, really? And then it's like there's like one. It's like there's one scene, like especially the scene, right? There's the scene in that show where Bucky is sitting, he's sitting on the floor of his apartment watching an old TV, and he's just sitting there like in the fetal position watching the announcement of the new Captain America, and
how
he's just
convenient everybody has the same channel.
yeah. And the thing is that earlier they established that Bucky was trying to justify and make right all his wrongs, right? Wouldn't it have been awesome if Bucky was out on a mission righting the wrongs, right? And the Falcon comes in on that same mission and they bump into each other. And like, oh, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? They have that interaction and it starts to develop organically, with their banter and all that stuff. And it's like, you're supposed to be in therapy. Well, I got a mission to do. And then all of a sudden, when they get to that truck scene and here's Captain America that goes in and he's like, yo, you have the shield. He has the shield. Why do you have the shield? Why do you have the shield? And the Falcon is like, it's a long story. Listen, I'll tell you. And they're fighting in the middle of all that stuff. Allow Bucky to find out through that way would just intensify the argument that they have during that moment. But no, it's just like he found out in the fetal position in his apartment, and then he's going on a mission, and then the Falcon shows up at the hangar and it's like, you're going on a mission? Yeah. Okay, I'm coming with you too. It's like, wait, no, I gotta go alone. No, I'm coming. It's like, okay, all right. And then they go. It's like, are you serious? Like, is that like, first off, homeboy strolling in there? Like, this is a closed facility. Like, you can't just stroll in here. I think it's the other way around. I think the Winter Soldier walked into the
Yeah,
facility
yeah.
and the Falcon was about to go on a mission, but it's just like he just strolls in there like you're Bucky Barnes. Like, what's your accreditation? Like, you're not supposed to be in here. Like, this is top secret stuff. Yes, that show, that show just has so many mistakes when it comes to writing, and
I think that show got screwed over with COVID, and that's one of the shows that really you really feel it, like in the
yeah.
whole episodes, that it really was chopped up in editing. Like,
Oh
okay, let's connect this here, let's connect here. This there was no reshoots at that bad boy.
yeah, yeah, and
And
that
WandaVision, you feel it at the last episode.
yes,
They had no more film to stretch.
yeah. Like, this is it, y'all. We don't have any more pixels to create any CG people. This is it. We are tapped out. This is the max of all pixels.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's man. But that show, we digress. But man, I have I have strong feelings about that show. I did not like it at all. But
I like,
Shang-Chi,
but I like bits and pieces of it. But yeah, I agree.
it,
Shang-Chi, same thing. Just it's a good origin film.
yeah,
But my favorite origin film is Doctor Strange.
that's a good
I
one.
think they and Thor. I just like because Thor's not a good movie, but it's just more of I've read as a child. I read a lot of the Thor comic books, the old ones.
Yeah,
So for me watching it, and I watch it with our uncle on the theater.
yeah,
I took him, and so that movie has a special something for me.
yeah.
You know,
hmm
tied to it. But I see that it's not the best Marvel movie ever, but it's
For the time, I felt as far as all the origin movies that came out, Thor was the best one. Iron Man was okay, but it had a weak story. Um, Captain America,
I think it was the villain that was big sauce.
yeah, that was kind of weak. And then the Captain America, the first Avenger, that was tough. That was not a
Yeah, it was
good
the
movie.
same thing. Two good arcs and
Yeah,
acts, and the third one was just
it
felt
was
like a slideshow.
it was a slideshow. It was like, oh, I'm Captain America now. Montage, slideshow, like image, shield being thrown, and it's just like really the meat and potato of what you came to watch the movie, just to see Captain America, see the character transform into Captain America, and then do Captain America stuff. They totally robbed you of all that because the only time you get to see him be truly Captain America is in that scene when he rescues Bucky, and then that scene where towards the last fight scene at the end where he's like really throwing that shield and making people hurt. Other than that, it's just a bunch of slideshows, and that's not good storytelling. That's just them kind of like, oh, we have.
But I feel it did out of all the sagas in there, that's the best one, Captain America one, because Iron Man 2 is bad, 3 is not good.
Three is
Are the main characters, but the main ones that came the first phase. I mean, the Captain America saga with Winter Soldier, then Civil War
Oh
was
yeah,
really.
their individual arcs. Yeah, Captain America is definitely the best one. So the first movie was rough, and usually it's the other way around.
But it gives you. I think the movie works in the sense that it gives you the ABC of the characters, because the movie in C and it's the movie they just needed Captain America in the present day, but they needed to give you, oh, this is Captain America, but though his real story is going to be in the present or present time. So I kind of feel like they ran out of money at the that third act and started doing the montage, and it's
Yeah,
like, okay, we need to put him in nice. We need him in nice.
yeah,
That's all you need.
yeah. We need to tie in that cutscene that we showed in that other movie,
Yeah,
and we just need to put it together. Yeah. So.
but they captured the essence of who the characters really was, because in Captain America is really Steve Rogers' essence, when because his best scene is when that grenade goes when they in the training facility,
Yeah.
when Tommy Lee Jones throws the grenade and he just jumps on it.
hmm
That's Captain America. So they
Yeah.
just capture that beautifully,
Yeah.
So the movie, they just didn't have money for that third act.
Yeah. But that's when Marvel was in its infancy, right? So
Yeah,
there
those are
was
the first three movies,
they
4 movies they did. Yeah,
they had no idea where things were
yeah.
gonna go, and like Iron Man was a success, let's call it that. But it wasn't like, yeah, we're gonna make this. No, it was just kind of like, all right, well maybe we can make a second
Well,
one,
Iron
and
Man was a hit. Yeah, it just kept. I think I was in Chronica. I was talking about that when we were reviewing Shang-Chi, was that actually I was saying my argument was that Marvel's success came with those credit scenes. It
yeah,
just became a rage with those movies, because they were like, "Oh, the Hammer of Thor's in there?
yeah,
What? Oh my God, we need Thor's coming!" That's where that fever came out of, and it
yeah,
still is, because I mean, Eternals got bad reviews, but people, oh my God, did you see the it's like when you go to the theater for a Marvel movie and it's like a mediocre movie,
yeah,
and you see the credit scene, it's like it's a tale of two times. So it's like, yeah, that was a bad movie, man. And you're talking, you're just waiting for the credits. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't like it. And then the scene comes in, and you're like, oh my god, I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, man. No, that's true, dude. Sometimes you
That's
just go there for
funny.
like the cutscene. Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree, man. Man, yeah.
Even Eternal was everybody who in the premiere saw it was raving about the cutscene, not the movie.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll watch that movie in theaters. I doubt it, man.
No, I'm not gonna watch that in theater. I'll wait for HBO.
Yeah,
Even I think even HBO, I mean Disney's like,
Disney.
yeah, I'm gonna throw this in there. Like Shang-Chi. They didn't even wait. They
Yeah,
just come on, let's throw in there.
yeah, man. That was the thing because yeah, I was really surprised when Shang-Chi was there. I was like, oh my god. It's like one of those random days where you just
Yeah.
oh, let's see what Disney Plus has. Oh, Shang-Chi. It's like that was
Yeah, I
awesome.
think they're throwing for Christmas. Hey, Christmas gift.
Yeah,
Eternals.
Eternals. There it
Because this is
is.
waiting in the movie theaters right now for the second week.
Oh, it's fighting for it. Like I think it's
It's
doing.
fading. It's
Oh,
pretty.
it's
It
fading.
did it good. It did okay in the first week. Then it just kept dropping, and during the week it hasn't been making much
Yeah,
money.
and they were like, "Oh, it's beating Clifford the Big Red Dog." It's like, bro, anything could beat Clifford the Big Red Dog. Like, you guys make it like a headline, like it's
If
something
you don't, if you
spectacular.
don't beat, if you don't beat Clifford, that's a problem.
Yeah, exactly. That would be the headline right there.
Yeah.
Clifford destroys the turtles. It's like, yo, I gotta watch
But
that
all those
Clifford movie.
movies have been even James Bond just came and just dropped like an amble.
Yeah. Um, the one movie in theaters that I regret not watching is The Last Duel by Ridley Scott.
Everybody's saying that that movie should have been watched on theaters.
Yeah,
That people shouldn't have waited for
yeah,
streaming or stuff like that.
yeah. It's The Last Duel is definitely something that looks. It
I
just.
just couldn't get I just couldn't get past the how ridiculous Ben Affleck looks.
Oh, see, and that's the thing. Like, I only saw like a glimpse of him. I saw a glimpse of him. I'm like, wait a second. Hold on a minute. Bloody hell, this is Ben Affleck. That's my atrocious attempt at British.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Spanish and English.
Stick to the two that I know. But but yeah, man. No, I I think Shang-Chi was okay. It was okay film, and I look forward to more movies with those actors. I look forward to
Yeah, they
what
did
they're gonna
good
do.
cast.
Yeah, I think the casting was spectacular. I think they did a really really good job, and so yeah, kudos, kudos.
They did
Um,
casting well.
yeah, I concur. Was there anything else that you planning to watch this upcoming week? Anything that you're interested in?
Um,
You got your eyes.
gonna gonna finish Real Time
Mm,
episode. So
yeah.
Succession has been good. So
Oh yeah, I need to catch up
we
on that.
yeah we can review it once the season ends, and we can talk about the whole season.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cowboy Bebop tomorrow, I think.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Show has been getting mixed reviews.
Sure has. I've seen him. Sure
Yeah.
has.
So what else was coming? There was something else.
There's a
Real
lot.
Time, Cowboy
Uh,
Bebop.
Red
Oh
Notice. Are you interested in Red Notice?
no.
Okay.
Um, next week is Hawkeye,
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a lot of stuff coming out. There's just so much content coming out. It's just been
The
a
Witcher's
bombardment.
next month,
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to that for sure.
and Ozark got a date. It's January.
Oh, next year.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, that's gonna be like the conclusion, right? Or are they gonna split it in half? It's gonna be like
They're
part one
splitting it.
and part two.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
splitting it.
yeah, yeah. That's the same thing they did with He-Man, which I think if they would have just put it back to back, it would have been. I think it would
Yeah,
have been
they would
fine.
have had it. Yeah, then they just created uh, they gave an opportunity to people to rage on it, but
Yeah,
it didn't need to
yeah,
because people don't understand that the story didn't finish. The second part to it.
yeah,
And a lot of people don't know about the original series and all the storylines in there.
yeah,
Like I see some bad takes on the, the show.
yeah. Because I enjoyed it. I just kind of felt like there was a moment in there where I felt like it was kind of like a bait and switch, and I can see why people would say that. But as far as a story goes and how they're telling it, oh, it's great.
Yeah,
It's
I
it's
really
a
like it.
it's a really good story.
Yeah,
But
I
is
think I think the thing is that Tina wasn't never developed in the
mm,
original series,
yeah.
and the only person who developed created a little story for her was Paul Dini, the creator of Batman the animated series.
Mm,
It was the fourth episode of He-Man that you see her backstory, and they
oh.
erase her memory, and that's the same episode where she learned all her origins. So they kind of like the show needed to fix that.
Yeah.
That's why they do all this stuff with Tina, and people don't understand that
Mm,
that character they wronged her because I watched the original series when I was a kid,
yeah.
and I was like, why the hell they erased this? Because there was no need for her not know that who she is and who her mother is and who He Man is. So there's no excuse in there why
Yeah.
she's in the dark.
That's true.
So that's why this show tries to fix that so they can have a better storytelling, modern storytelling, or more adult storytelling. Because that show was pretty old, just to sell toys, but Paul Dini just gave it some wham in that fourth episode, and then it just oh, let's erase all this. let's erase her memory.
Oh man, that's
So yeah,
crazy.
yeah. So she's not gonna be He-Man. That's the worst take I've seen ever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm actually really curious to see what how they approach it, and I did see like a barbarian He-Man, and
All right.
that's
Yeah, I
paying
like those concepts.
yeah that's paying tribute to the original concept art of He-Man and
Yeah,
how they were planning to release him down the line at some point until they changed him up and stuff like that. But so I appreciate that he's doing things like that. So yeah, I'm curious to see how it wraps up and how it ends and everything like that. So, and
yeah.
it can't be as bad as the actual He-Man movie. So
But I enjoyed this techno fantasy type of thing they did, and the elements that they added to it. I mean, I really liked it.
yeah,
I was I was so disappointed with the discourse of the show afterwards.
mm,
Like people didn't understand or appreciate. They were just raging for raging's sake,
yeah,
and didn't appreciate the how well constructed the storyline was. And
mm,
had some beautiful moments, like with Oracle and even with Tila. I was like, "Fuck yes!" They fixed this damn thing from the original show.
yeah,
You know, it was oh no. I was like, "Oh my god, you ignorant assholes!" This course was so toxic.
yeah. No, it got blown out of proportion, and I've
Yeah,
noticed that of late. Like and there are elements like I listen to the people and listen to what they have to say and how they're reviewing certain shows and stuff like that, just so that way I can have some perspective of what I'm getting into. But then when I'm watching the show, I'm also hearing what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? Like I have that in the back of my head, and I'm like, okay, no, it's not like that, or okay, that person is right. Kind of thing, or they have some sense of what's right. And this one, I feel like they missed the mark, and I do get the sensation of the bait and switch. Like it's a He-Man story, but wait, no, it's not. So I see where people are coming from that perspective, but again, it just it that didn't phase me when I was watching it. I'm like,
yeah.
this is a really good story. Like I'm really enjoying this.
I was so annoyed trying to explain people how basic storyline works. And it was trying to teach a dog a new trick.
Yeah.
Just
Wait.
couldn't get it. They were like, He-Man, sometimes you need to sideline him. That's why in the comic books they kill characters off, like
Mm,
Superman, Batman, is for you to miss him and the characters around him you explore those characters. So you don't have Batman there to be like the you cling on him. You just expose these other characters and
Yeah.
elevate them. And that's what they were trying to do with Tila, fix the stuff that they introduced in the main series, elevate her to the point that where she needs to be, because she's the daughter of the sorceress.
Hmm.
In the original, she was never gonna be He-Man. It's just you need to give her a hero's journey too, like for her to be interesting. She can't be
Yeah.
the same damsel and ignorant that she doesn't know what the story is. It just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Like, and people know, I'm like, oh my god, it's just
Yeah.
so yeah.
No, I agree. No, I'm really looking forward to that as time progresses. I think it's coming out in December.
Yeah, I think
So
Netflix was did bad to that show, dividing it,
yeah, but
because the show was all finished. It was the whole episodes were all done. They didn't need to work. They only need music and stuff like that. But they just like, no, let's launch it in two parts. And like, oh my god,
but
you
that's
just fed the this nonsense community and outrage stuff. Like,
yeah. But it's definitely a tactic, right? Like they need to get
yeah,
revenue, they need to get the numbers up and stuff like that. And I'm sure that
yeah,
this is has something to do with the toy release. I'm sure that they're going to release another toy here soon in
yeah,
December, Christmas time frame. So they're like, how can we market this so that way it can benefit the toy company as well?
yeah.
So
All these companies have learned to how to make money out of outrage. Like,
yeah,
they
monetize
made
it. They
yeah, they monetize it.
yeah
So that's why you see all these weird announcements and stuff. And it's just that they're just monetizing outrage, and
yeah.
which is very dangerous. I consider that dangerous.
Yes, yes, they are playing with fire, but it's almost like they're desperate now. They whatever gets sales, that's what they're willing to do.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think what Netflix has going on with that show is going to be interesting. I'm curious to see what they do with Space Cowboy Bebop. I've been watching the anime up to this point. I'm almost done with it, so I won't watch the show until I finish the anime, so that way I can kind of compare and contrast with that.
I
Um,
won't watch the anime until I finish the TV shows.
yeah, because I mean the anime's watching it now that I'm older. There are like there's like a handful of really great episodes. Like I don't think it needed to be 26 episodes because it feels like
Yeah.
they're always telling the exact same story again and again and again with almost the exact same resolution.
Yeah.
And
I
that
never
gets
seen those. I
yeah.
only saw one episode. I really like the music of the show.
Oh, the
That's
music is
the
great.
But I never been compelled to finish that show.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm very interesting to see this adaptation. They're not trying to. What I've read is like it's more like a remix of the
Mm-hmm.
story, and they go different ways and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not 100% like faithful adaptation of the
Yeah.
storyline.
I just
So
I, I just need them to capture the essence of the show. If they
yeah,
can capture the essence of the characters and their relationship and stuff like that, I think I'll be okay. Everything else is just subject to change. I'm okay with that because there's not really much there. If you take two
yeah,
steps back, that anime is just kind of bare bones. There's intimate episodes that fuel your interest enough to get through two more episodes before they tap into that source again. So for me, it could have been like 13 episodes, the anime, and 13 really good episodes. Because everything else is just kind of like, oh, here's an
well, if
interesting
it was
journey.
done now, they would have done that. But in that
Yeah,
moment in time, they just that
yeah,
was like long series and stuff like that.
yeah.
So
That had no reason to
but
do
yeah,
it.
I've seen a lot of people just haven't watched the show, and they're off put by the quirkiness of the show and
Yeah,
how it looks, the music and stuff. So I think
yeah,
it's a tough sale on that show.
yeah. But well, we'll see. I think that's where I'm at with like the next thing that I'm gonna watch is that, and then um, there's a couple of things that Netflix is always dropping that like there's a couple animes that are coming out. There's this anime where it's like evil superheroes or something like that. But that's not the official
Oh,
title.
Super Crooks.
Yeah, Super Crooks. I really want to watch
That's
that.
Mark Millar. That's Mark Millar. That's from the guy who did that's a comic book actually.
Oh, really?
They turned it into an anime, but that's from Mark Millar, the guy who did Jupiter's Legacy and
Oh, okay.
the Spy, the all those. He has his brand of comic book. He did Civil War and Marvel and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So
I love
so
Civil War.
so that's one of his adaptations because Marvel. I mean, Netflix bought his studio.
Hmm.
His so all those properties, there are a couple ones outside because they're that movie that man I keep forgetting that this kid he wants to be a superhero and he gets beat up and badly. He dresses in green.
Oh, Kick
Uh,
Ass.
Kick Ass.
Yeah.
He created Kick Ass and Wanted, and the other one, the Spy one. that.
Spy one. Not.
But yeah, it was all Mark Millar's stuff. So
Hmm.
let's see how this anime works after Jupiter's Legacy.
Yeah. I don't know. It just seemed really interesting. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's
It's,
what I'm.
it's the premise is, if I remember correctly, is that all the super villains they moved out of the United States because all the superheroes were in the United States and they moved to Europe. So and the superheroes don't go to Europe.
Oh dang. Yeah, no man. I seen some cutscenes of it, and it just looks like a lot of fun. It looks really
Yeah,
silly, and it seems very high concept. Like
yeah. Oh,
so.
he spends. The thing with Mark Millar, he gets a genre and he
Mhm.
puts a spin on it. So yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome.
but
Yeah. Well, I think that's gonna do it for us here. Howie, do you have any final thoughts, concerns, queries, anything that you'd like to
no,
share with the beautiful people out there?
no, I'm good. Just subscribe and keep watching, and you know, if you want more, just watch RaaaBoom's stream, video game stream, and if you want some Spanish comic book talking, go to Crónica de Comics on Facebook and YouTube.
Yes,
You can follow me there.
it's a fantastic place to be at. Fantastic
Yeah.
place. Yeah. From me to you, from Howie to you, from all of us here. Thank you guys for hanging out, watching this, and let us know down in the comments below what you guys think about any of the shows that we talked about, any of the movies that we talked about, and what are you guys watching? What's on your screen, ladies and gentlemen? Let us know down in the comments, and who knows, we might watch it, we might watch something, and we could talk about it here. But until next time, much love, and peace out.